Yo, 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 peoples, this is Two Fault for sure, and you're listening to Live and in Color with Wolfie D.
Hey, this is Jimmy Street, host of the Live and in Color with Wolfie D podcast. Hear the life and times of professional wrestler Wolfie D. From his time in the territories with PG-13 to his time in WWE, ECW, WCW, TNA, and more. Nothing is off limits and nothing will be held back. Thanks again for tuning in. Here he is, Wolfie D.
Hey guys, welcome once again to Live and in Color with Wolfie D and my man Jimmy across the street. What is going on, my friend?
What's up, dude? How you doing today, brother?
Man, I am running around here with these kids. It's fall break here, and I got my boy plus my inherited boy, and and yeah, man, you know, cooking breakfast, cooking lunch, and being daddy daycare.
I love it. Man, that's a movie. We need to do this as a movie, I think. Wolfie Daycare. Wolfie D stands for daycare now. So.
Yeah, and you know it's October now, and you know how I get in October, so
yeah,
got all my Halloween stuff working and making new stuff, putting out the old stuff, and
man,
I got people. I'm gonna start charging admission to my yard because I looked out there the other day and there was 3 girls out in my yard, like they taking pictures next to all my stuff, like they was at Disneyland or something.
Getting it on the gram. Yeah,
I was on the phone yesterday with Dirty White Boy, and then all of a sudden some guy pulls in my yard, gets out of his car, nice dressed fella, comes and rings my doorbell, and I went over there and I said, "Hey, can I help you?" He said, "Man, I just want to tell you that I love this. Halloween is my favorite holiday, and man, I just love when people do stuff like this, and your stuff looks awesome, you know, because I build all my own stuff, so they've never, you know, they know I didn't buy it at Home Depot or whatever." But,
yeah.
So I thought that was funny, and it was because I had White Boy on speaker too, so he heard it, and I've sent him pictures of it. He said his kids loved it and everything too. So it's fun, man. You know, I have fun with Halloween.
Dude, you're doing some incredible stuff, and I'm just saying, all that other stuff is great, like the big wolf and the witch and the lights and the design and stuff. But that skeleton wrestling ring is tops, bro. I'm serious. You're outdoing yourself. I'm thinking that there needs to be a professional service done here. You know, you and I are always trying to think of ways to make money, right? I mean, we're hustlers, and I think Wolfie D could be like a local Somerset. You know, it might detract from what you do at home, but honestly, you know,
a prop maker,
but also like a yard designer. Is there such a thing? I mean, I know there's like lawn care and, you know, that kind of stuff, but everybody wants their house and Christmas. I mean, dude, what you could do with Halloween, I'm sure you could do Christmas too. Oh, I'm just saying. So, hey, if you're somewhat local to, what is it? Southern Kentucky, where are you at? Southeastern?
Somerset.
So, I know, but what's the area? It's like southeast.
Southeast, pretty much. Yeah,
southeastern Kentucky. If you're in the 30 to 45 minute vicinity, and you want Wolfie D to do your yard, let's just go ahead and pimp it, man. I think you know there would be a nominal fee. You know, depending on what nominal, maybe more nominal than I don't even know what nominal means, but yeah. It makes sense in the sentence, but yeah, man, things are going good on my side too, brother. Just working. Recently had Chris Kern on the podcast of mine, and then having Scott Spade. I think you worked up in Chicago one time for Pal. Jamie, and so anyway, we're having fun and living the dream, and so anyway, just busting our hump. But I gotta ask you, man, you know, what are we doing today? Who's our guest? What are we talking about today, man?
Well, I mean, we're sitting here talking about being busy and all that, and I've got an idea of you know, some people have joined in later. Obviously, when we first started, we weren't getting the numbers that we get now on a weekly basis, you know, so some people haven't had the time or even cared to go back and maybe listen to some of the older stuff. So I was thinking maybe you could put together like a best of some of the funniest stories and craziest stories that I've told and that some of the guests have told, and let it roll with that. And, just let people catch up on some of it. Some of it, I'm sure some of you have heard already. Ain't going to hurt you to hear it again. So, and if you haven't heard it, you'll enjoy it.
Well, you know what? I like that idea. So what we can do is a lot of people, they do give the Ask Wolfie questions, and a lot of the questions we love, we appreciate them all. But some of the questions we've answered several times on the show. So what we'll do is, I think I've got an idea, man. I think this is going to work, man. I think this is going to work. We'll pull some of the great stories from the times past, from guests past, from your career, and just have some fun, man. I think this will be a lot of fun.
Yeah, cool, man. If you could put that together, that'd be awesome.
I can do it, brother. I can do it. But I'm going to hold you to this. After all these clips, we're going to do a brand new, just like normal, Ask Wolfie Anything. What do you say to that?
We can do that.
Okay. Well, you go through this list. Go ahead and listen to this show. Listen to all these great stories that we're about to put here for you. And maybe something you've never heard before. You never can tell. Yeah. But at the very end, just like normal, we're going to do a Ask Wolfie Anything. All right.
Let's do it, man.
All right. We'll be right back after these messages with some of the very best stories from all the early episodes on Live and in Color with Wolfie D. Support for Live and in Color with Wolfie D is brought to you by Manscaped, who is the best in men's below-the-waist grooming. Manscaped offers precision-engineered tools for your family jewels. Manscaped recently launched the Ultimate Men's Hygiene Bundle, the Performance Package. Join over 4 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped with this exclusive offer for you. 20% off and free worldwide shipping with the code WOLFIE at manscaped.com. If my math's correct, that's about 8 million balls.
Hey folks, to get your official Live and in Color with Wolfie D merchandise, go to prowrestlingtees.com/live Wolfie D. Check it out.
If you're listening to Live and in Color with Wolfie D on Apple Podcast and like what you're hearing, go ahead and leave a 5-star rating. And while you're at it, write a review. Tell us what you liked. Tell us what you'd like to hear in the future. It's very important to us and always appreciated. Thanks again.
One night, we're on an outlaw show in Beaver Dam, Kentucky. Okay. Jeff Jarrett was there, Pistol Pez Watley, some people we ain't been around. Jamie knew them all because he grew up with them. You know what I'm saying? His dad,
Right.
He grew up with them. He was a kid around all of them. So Jamie obviously knew Jeff, and, we knew we kind of had a good thing going with the gimmick. And Jamie had one of those big VHS recorders, and he said, Jeff, film this match, because I think we worked Brick House and somebody else, which we knew was going to be pretty good. So believe it or not, Jeff said, okay. And Jeff actually stood outside Beaver Dam, Kentucky's, outlaw show dressing room and held a video camera and filmed our match for us. And yeah, I know. At that time, especially. And so we come back, and he's like, that was good. And Jamie pulls the tape out of it. He says, go take that to your dad. Just like, all right. So Jerry is the booker in USWA. And so I forget who's trying to call who's trying to do what. Believe it or not, Bill was actually trying to block us from getting a job there. That's a whole other story.
Okay.
But Jeff showed it to his dad. His dad loved it. So we kept trying to schedule an appointment. I don't know if you've ever heard the story of where Jerry lived in Hendersonville, up on top of a hill, big mansion. It was nice. And that was where the office was.
Right.
So we're trying to get an appointment to get there. The first week we show up, we actually pull in the driveway, and Jerry blew us off. He never came to the door, called us later and said, sorry guys, I'm sick, blah, blah, blah. So like, fuck, okay. And Jamie said, we ain't quitting. So that's what he said to me.
Yeah.
We finally get another one, I don't know, like a week later, pull up to the mansion. And Jamie said, before we go in, he said, I'm just telling you, if we make him laugh, we got a job. I'm like, all right. Cause that was kind of our early edition of PG-13 was a lot of comedy and little heels screwing up and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And the look was something unique that nobody had done yet. So
totally.
And I say that in proudness when I say other people that have copied us after us. But anyway, so yeah, too cool, Public Enemy. We can go on. Anyway, so we go in his office. You go right into it, and he said, "All right, boys," and he's got a red nose still from where he's been so sick and blowing it all the time and everything. And he says, "Go in that room right there." And we had our stuff with us. We had the hubcap and everything. And he said, "Well, put this gimmick on. Let me see it." And so we go in there and we change clothes in a room next to it. Dude, we had to walk across. Like, there was a ballroom in there. And I was 18 years old, dude. I was like blown away. So we come back in his office with the gimmick on, hat's crooked, sunglasses on, hubcap around the neck, tennis shoes. And we stand there and we just look at him. And if you have ever seen Jerry on some of his commentary and things, just like been around him, he'll pause for a long time sometimes, and then he'll spit in that cup.
Yeah. And
he started giggling. He said, "I love it." So at that moment, we knew, okay, we got a job. We didn't know, old school 80s and stuff. They used to play the music videos of the wrestlers before they would show up for like a month, and then they'd show up and you have that hype. He said, "I want you guys to write a rap, and we're going to film a rap video." And see, at that time, me and Jamie we were just being thugs. We weren't rappers. I liked rap, and if you know Jamie, Jamie's not a rapper, you know. So in my mind, I'm thinking, this is going to be so challenging. But anyway, so I write this rap. We film the video. The first one was okay. I look back on them now and I'm like, God, that's awful. But it was 4 weeks worth, 2 different raps, 4 weeks before we ever came on TV. And so that's how much he liked the gimmick and wanted to get it over. And that's how that started. There was never, at that point in time, this is Jamie Dundee, Bill's son. We didn't mention it. It was just one of those things ignored. Yeah. We were just 2 dudes from the hood, and we were heels and little first, second, third match guys, and happy as hell to be there, and that's what that was. Yeah. There was one night, it was a TV taping on the other side of the island, and and you got to remember, in a lot of these towns back then, man, dressing rooms weren't connected. It was bad guys in one, good guys in another, man. That shit didn't start till mid-'90s, really, in a lot of places. So the referee would go back and forth, give you stuff, whatever. So Dutch told us before we went out there, we were heels, and he said, "I want to get you guys over." He said, "I'm putting you in kind of like their version of job guys. They weren't, stars or whatever. One of them was a big Puerto Rican dude. One of them was a little Japanese guy." Yeah. And Dutch said, "I don't want you to give them nothing." He said, "I want you to get over." Okay, so if you were to tell me that today or even, 10 years ago, I would know exactly what that meant. Then I kind of knew what it meant. Yeah. So we go out there, and I think me and the big guy locked up first, and we're kind of going back and forth a little bit. I mean, I'm not doing a ton of big stuff to him, but I'm not letting him do anything. But then he starts taking stuff and doing this, and not like stretching me and not shooting, none of that. It was just I was giving him too much. And then we got the little Japanese guy in there and whatnot, and finished the match, finished it strong. So we get back from the ring, and Dutch is pissed. "What the fuck?" He said, "I told you not to give him a fucking thing." He said, "How do you want me to get you over if you're sitting out here selling to these guys? That ain't shit." I'm like, "Fuck, man, I thought, if you wanted to have beat someone." I was always kind of taught that too. If you don't give them nothing, who the hell did you beat? But anyway. Yeah, who did you beat? Right. So then, I think like as a rib, he booked us the very next TV against the same 2 guys, and I knew that almost for the whole week coming up. So I'm like, man, and this dude he was like a security guard sort of deal or something on the side or something, but he was a big dude, especially I wasn't that big back then. So the boys are ribbing me all week long. "Oh, you got to wrestle." I think his name was Armadito. "You got to wrestle Armadito again. He's going to stretch your ass. He's going to stretch your ass." So here I am again at, early 20s or 20. I don't even think I could drink in Puerto Rico. Yeah, I was like 20 still. And So I'm thinking, I am not getting my ass kicked here in Puerto Rico. It's not gonna happen. So can I straight up whoop him? I'm not sure. So there was this bar that hung over the ocean right down from where we lived, and it's called the Blue Dolphin. And I went down there that night, and I sat out there, and the matches didn't start till 9. So, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, I'm going down to the Blue Dolphin, sitting there contemplating on, okay, how's this going to go tonight? Having a few drinks. And I come up with the idea of I'm going to put icy hot on my fingers. I'm going to stick in his fucking eyes. I'm going to whoop shit out of him.
Yeah.
So I put it on there like you would on your toothpaste. Put it icy hot. And I dug that shit. And I told him, first of all, I told him to take my arm. And when he did, I took my right hand, I dug that shit in his eyes, and I just started fucking knucking his ass. We're talking cuts on his face, and, just hitting him. And so he gets out of the ring. Match is over. Referee throws this thing out. None of this, this is a straight up shoot. Straight up shoot. And the people knew because they were going crazy. Me and Jamie were kind of hyped, and, this dude rolls out of the ring, he's bleeding. So he goes back to the back. Me and Jamie go back to the back. It's like pandemonium, sort of. And I'll never forget, we all of a sudden, a couple of the Puerto Rican baby or heels that was in our dressing room were not happy with me. Amigo, you cheated. And so I'm thinking, okay, now are they going to jump on me now? So then we look out into the arena, and there's, I swear to God, probably about 15 to 20 cops with those fucking helmets and those clear shields. Yeah. And we're thinking, what the fuck, man? This rent-a-cop guy's got some friends, or because he's Puerto Rican and we're American, and all the stories, everything was just rushing through your head at that point. Right. Jamie goes and hides in the bathroom and pulls his feet up on the stall. It's a funny thing, but I could know where he was coming from. I mean, he pulled his feet up so you couldn't see his feet. He's going, right. I ain't going, because we think they're there for us. Well, what had really happened was this dude goes back to the dressing room on his side, and he pulls out a gun, and he says to Victor, the promoter, Joe Vigo, he says, I killed the Wolfie. So Victor called the cops to protect me and Jamie from getting shot. Right. So the police escort us to our car. I think we had a driver. To our car, takes us back to our hotel room. Yeah. We went to bed, and the very next morning, and I could feel this and see it like a scene out of a movie, man. It was early. I got to that payphone. It was right outside the hotel, and it was pouring down rain. And I'm standing in the rain, and I called Dutch. I said, man, what should I do? He said, Wolfie, I don't got your back on this. And he said, if you wouldn't icy hot him, I'd have your back. Just been a shoot, but you put icy hot in a man's eyes. And I said, all right. Right. I hung up the phone, took my ass to the airport, and flew home. And everybody that's been down there, I've heard it from Savio Vega, I've heard it from Flash Flanagan, I've heard it from Bushwhacker, who was always a booker down there. Apparently, these guys, and I guess Jamie was still there at the same time. He didn't leave when I left. Right. But they came to the hotel, him and his dad, because he went home, and his dad, Hispanic people, the machismo type thing, all that. They came looking for me. His daddy said, you let this little motherfucker do that to you? I don't know if those were exact words, but that was the basic reasoning behind coming looking for me. Sure. And so I can't say whether they're going to just beat me up, whether they're going to kidnap me, whether they're going to kill me. I don't know, but I'm glad I left, and I never went back. You've told me that you know the story or whatever where I icy hotted the guy, man. What is your part of that story? What happened, man? I mean, I'll tell you my side, but you tell me what you heard there.
Yeah, let me finish this part here. I'm in Japan. I was in Japan. When I arrived, I know all the guys that was there, and I asked for you guys. I said, "Oh, you don't know?" I said, "I know what." You know what happened? I said, no. These son of a bitches, they put, something happened in the ring with Armandito Salgado, and he got mad. So they have a match with him, and one of them have been gay in his fingers, and when they look up, he just grabbed him by the neck and put the big gay in his eyes, and with the cup, They beat the fuck out of him. They fuck him up. They jump in the car and left. I said, what? I started laughing my ass. I said, what the fuck? Hey, what a motherfucker.
Let me ask you this. Do you know that guy? Do you even know him?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I don't need to.
All right. Well, let me tell you on my side. From what happened, because I really don't think me and you ever really talked about this.
No, we never talk about that.
No. Okay. So I mean, when I come down to Puerto Rico, I'm like 18 or 19, and this is like 94. You know, Brody. What year was that where Brody got killed? Like 89,
88.
Yeah. Okay. So young guys going down there, we're hearing that. Okay, American guys don't get in trouble, don't do this, don't do that. So anyway, Dutch books me and Jamie against that Armadito Santiago and another little Japanese guy. And Dutch says to us, and this is, back in the day when there was one dressing room for the heels and one dressing room for the baby faces. And he says, go out there. He said, I need you guys to get over. Don't give them shit. So at 18, 19 years old, I kind of didn't know what that meant. Today, I really know what that means. But so I go out there, and this dude, he's Armadito. You know what? Was he about, 6'2", probably?
Maybe.
He was way bigger than I was at that point.
I'm proud Puerto Rican.
Yes, very, very, very. So I go out there, and man, I don't give him a lot of shit. I really don't, but I gave him a little more than Dutch wanted me to. So I come back from the ring. We beat him, blah, blah, blah. I come back from the ring, and Dutch goes, God damn it, I told you not to give him shit, blah, 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 blah. So then for the whole next week, I get ribbed by everybody. Oh, Armadito shot on you. Oh, he did this. He did that.
Fuck.
So, yeah, I'm staying. You remember, I know you do, the hotel that they used to put all the Americans at. Like,
Dahlia.
Right?
Dahlia.
Yeah. The Dahlia. Hell yeah, the Dahlia. Right down the street, and there was a bar, the Blue Dolphin, that hung over the ocean right there.
Yeah.
So I know that I'm right guy again. They keep telling me, oh, he's going to beat you up. He's going to beat you up. And I'm thinking, man, I ain't getting beat up. I'm 19 years old. I'm not getting beat up. So I'm thinking, what am I going to do? So I come up with this idea. I'm going to put icy hot in his fucking eyes, and I'm going to fucking punch. And so the thing is that we went to the ring. He grabbed my arm. I put the icy hot in his eyes, and then I just started knucking him. And he rolled. Yeah, I really did. And then he rolled out of the ring. Well, here's the part that you may not know, and the thing is, he rolled out of the ring. He was all bloodied and beat up. He went back to the dressing room, and he pulled out a gun. Well, me and Jamie didn't know that because it was two separate dressing rooms, right? All of a sudden, we look around, and no shit, Savio, there was about, I don't know, probably 10 cops that showed up with like riot squad gear on, with like shields and all this shit. And we're thinking, holy fuck, man, they're fixing to fuck us up, But the thing was, he pulled out the gun, and they were actually there to protect us, and they took us to our hotel room the next morning, and I'll never forget this. And what made me start on that was that I walked out from the what'd you call the hotel? What's the hotel?
Dahlia.
Yeah, Dahlia. I walked out from the Dahlia on that little side street right there, and I got on the phone, and I called Dutch, and I said, hey, Dutch, man, what should I do? And he said, Wolfie, I ain't got your back, man. He said, you put icy hot in his eyes. I said, all right, man, I'll see you. Boom. And I took a taxi to the airport, and I flew home. And I'm sure you can attest to this, everybody else has, that guy came to the hotel room after I was gone, and they were gonna, I don't know, him and his dad were gonna do something to me.
He come with the dad. He was with his dad all the time.
Yeah.
Wow.
And that's crazy, because what if I'd have been
how close
they had done to me?
Yeah, how close was it, Savio? How close was Wolfie to really getting bad hurt?
Well, like I said to you, I was in Japan by that time.
Right.
But when I arrived, the only thing the story that I hear was that he put Bengay on his eyes and beat the hell out of him, and after that they left. So when I arrived, they already gone.
Yeah, right.
And I was like no, you kidding me? He fucking put icy hot and beat the hell out of him. I mean, fuck him up. I said, holy shit. I said, why? And I hear because Armandito don't want to sell or something like that. I said, well, I don't know. But, man, I remember that story.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Everybody, it's funny. All the American guys that come back from Puerto Rico tell that story. They're like, Wolfie, you're ridiculous. And then what's funny is that Luke especially would call me every, I don't know, like once a year. Hey, man, come on back, man. It's okay. I'm like, fuck you. I ain't coming back.
You're going to get me there, motherfucker.
Hell no.
Wow.
I don't even want to come on vacation.
Armandito's living in Florida somewhere, in Orlando, I don't know, Tampa.
Oh,
he's getting closer.
I lived there a year ago. He was way closer to me than he was in Puerto Rico. That's funny,
Coming up on you, Wolfie. He's getting closer.
I got to get into this one, though, because here's the thing. We've heard Wolfie's side. We've talked to Savio. We've talked to a few different guys, and Wolfie has talked about the Armandito story. Now, what I want to hear from you, Jamie, is the middle time. So basically, Wolfie dips, right? And then
hell, he leaves me fucking for the wolves, man. He leaves me for dead.
Yeah, and you're there. And what happens at that point? Tell us about that.
At that point, I say to Mike Anthony, what the fuck, man? He goes, bro, man, has he lost his mind? Fucking, they kill people here. I'm like, I know. And the next morning, about 6 o'clock, they some beating on my fucking hotel door, bro. And I open up the door, and they're standing there, and they say, we come to kill the Wolfie. That's his exact words to me was, I come to kill the Wolfie. And I said, look, bro, Wolfie's gone, man. He's fucking vamonos, bro, back to fucking America. And he's like, amigo, he said, you fight with honor. He said, you protect your partner. But he put something in my eye. And I said, bro, I don't know nothing about none of that, dog. I just know that he ain't here. And they came in, they went through all the fucking rooms, and they could see it was just me. And they said, nothing else. They just fucking left and shut the door. And I said, oh, my God. But I tell you, the scariest moment of that whole thing was the night before when that fucking riot team came in. I was like, oh, no, I am not going to fucking jail and on this fucking island. Right, so me and Wolfie run through the back and try to climb out the back window and shit. And they're like, nah, bro, we're here. Well, no, let me go. We're here to protect you. I'm like, yeah, y'all protected old Brody too, didn't you?
Right, exactly.
Protecting me like that. And that was the scariest part. Me and Wolfie's in the ring again for the second show, and them motherfuckers come in that riot gear, and they stand along by the dressing room door, and I'm like, oh no, man, this is not going to end well. But I ain't going to prison on this island. It ain't happening.
That's my memory. Is that no? I don't want to say the biggest memory, but the funniest part of it, if there is a funny part, is that
it's funny like nail now because we're back here.
The dressing room and we see we go into the dressing room, and you're trying to get out the back window like you said, and it's like those school windows, the ones that bend inward, and there's no way you can get out of them or whatever.
Oh, there's no way to get out. I'm trying to break the fucking thing off, man. You're trying to bust it or something. It's one of them ones you crank turn or something.
Right.
Then you do the serial killer hide, where the serial killer's after you, and you go in the stall, pull your feet up
behind the toilet. Yeah, under the toilet. Yeah. The
Jason is fixing to kick the door in and kill you.
Oh my God.
Hey, brother, and listen, let me tell you, the very next show, right? Me and Mike Anthony go to the next show, and it's just me working with Mike now because his partner's left, and my partner's obviously gone now. And that fucking invader, he's gonna call me and Mike. He's gonna say, "Migo, hey, can I talk to you, man?" I said, Mike, man, I'm not going. He's like, yeah, man, come on. I'm like, fuck no, I'm not going to talk to this dude like that. And this is, so we walk in the office. I said, you going to me? So me and Mike go in the office. And look, he starts crying and shit and telling me about, with Frank and his son being killed and all. And I'm thinking, oh, fuck, where are we going with this shit, man?
Right.
It was crazy, man. I was like, oh, no. And And then we sat and drank drinks, and he fucking told us stories about it, and he started crying. I was like, oh my God, what is fixing to happen here? This fucking island, nobody cares. You know what I'm saying? And nobody cares. This dude's the fucking godfather. I'm sitting in fucking the supreme being's fucking room, and I'm like, oh, this is not a good thing. He's like, your partner, he's crazy, man. You know, people die here. And then I'm like, yeah, I know, brother. I heard the story before. I mean, what do you say to this fucking guy? And he's crying on me and shit. And I was like, yeah, he's just crazy, man. I don't know, man. And I said the motherfucker should have sold. I guess I don't know what the right answer is here, man.
Fucking should have sold, by God.
Yeah, seriously.
Yes, I was like, what the fuck? And then Dutch for a rib 2 times puts on the TV, Wolfie D returns. But, you know, a single match, and he's like, I just did that just for fun. I'm like, fuck you, man. The police department's going to show up. And, hey, look, it says JC Ice on these shorts, motherfucker. Yeah, but I was like, oh, no.
And then
I went back one more time.
There's a classic story that I can tell you. It's a little bit long, but I think this is a good way to end the show.
This will be it.
Kind of sums up 1995, and to explain what I said about we were over. To this day, I don't know how we probably aren't still in jail after this. So we have a match it's in Jackson, Tennessee. It's at a bar.
Okay.
Now there's a parking lot, and across the parking lot there is a titty bar that had just recently been shut down. That's where we dressed at. So you go in there, everybody hung out in there, walk across the parking lot, go into the bar, have your match. Me and Jamie are supposed to wrestle Tommy and Doug that night. So we get there, and we're in this recently abandoned titty bar, and we look in the coolers behind the bar, and there's still beer in them. So I can probably not even have to say that we started drinking beer that was in the coolers.
Yeah.
And maybe doing a few other things that somebody brought with them.
Right.
So by the time we get to the ring, I'll be honest with you, I don't even remember the match.
Yeah.
But I've had that happen before, and then for me, it's like riding a bicycle. It might not have been my greatest, but I guarantee it worked. So
sure.
At any rate, some of this, what I'm telling you, I do not remember. The reason I know it is because the next day I had to go back to the bar and apologize to the staff and everything. So we have our match. Well, me and Jamie had ridden there with some girl that he was messing with or whatever in her car. Okay. So this is a Friday night. We got to be at TV at 8:30 in the morning. So we stay, and after the matches, we stay. You know, everything's on the house, and they said that me and Jamie probably took 2 shots of everything on their shelf, plus drinking some beer and whatever else. So somewhere in the night there, it gets rowdy enough to where the bar is closed. Pretty much most of the patrons are gone, except for people that we wanted to stay with us. And let's just say there was some public sexual activity going on. I mean, it was a mess. Somewhere in there, Jamie thinks that I'm hitting on the girl that he's with, and I must say this too. This would not be the first time this happened with me and Jamie. So anyway, I think I followed him into the bathroom. He went to the bathroom. Well, we get in a fight, and when the bouncers came in, I had Jamie by the head, like slamming the back of his head into the walls, back and forth, like the movies where they, change and go to the next wall. Right. And then I grabbed the plunger, the toilet plunger, and it was wooden. And when they walked in, I was beating him over the head with it, and it had broken. So I was just beating him with the stick on top of the head. And Jamie's head was fucked up. He was bleeding everywhere. There was blood on the walls, everything. And so at this point, I remember them, one grabbing me by each arm, pulling me backwards, me kicking at him. So needless to say, they throw us out and lock the door. Well, so here we are standing outside this bar. However it happened, we weren't mad at each other anymore because we realized that the keys to the car were locked in the bar. So we're beating on this door. Jamie's bleeding everywhere. We got this girl. if you can imagine that scene. So
sure. Yeah.
They give us the keys. Well, we decide we're hungry, still in this state. And, I think Jamie might have tried to clean up a little bit. But we went across the interstate over to the Waffle House. Well, you know how Jamie is, and I'm not going to say any more other than our waitress was not white.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't have something that he wanted. He threw a fucking fit. We get kicked out of there. So then we decide, and now Jackson is 80 miles from Memphis, okay? So we got to get to a hotel. By this point, it's fucking 3 o'clock in the morning. We got to be there at 8:30, and we're fucking slammed. So we go over to the Exxon and buy a 12-pack. Start heading back to Memphis. And I've got the 12-pack at my feet. The girl's in the back. Jamie's driving. I'm watching Jamie drive as best I can. And and like I said, the interstate is very empty at that time of the night, of course. Mm-hmm. He is swerving from one lane to the other and back. I mean, bad. And so I said, Jamie, and we had done this before, like if he needed to reach for something in the back or whatever, you know how you just reach over from the passenger seat and grab the wheel?
Yeah.
So I said, Jamie, you're fucking up, dude. I said, we're going to get pulled over. I said, let me have the fucking wheel. So I grabbed the wheel, and I put one hand over one eye so I could squint to be able to see, not double, because I was seeing double.
Right. Yeah.
So little did I know, when I grabbed the wheel, Jamie kept his foot on the gas and fucking went to sleep.
Oh, man.
Passed out. And I didn't know that, because I'm not looking at him.
Man.
I'm concentrating on the road.
Yeah.
So then I realized that I can't even fucking do it. I'm like, there's no way I can drive like this fucking 70 more miles to fucking, how many far down the road we were.
Right.
To Memphis. So I let go of the wheel, and I said, brother, I can't do it. You're going to have to do it. Now, keep in mind, he's asleep right now. And so I lean over and put my head against the window, and I go to sleep. So he's got his foot on the gas. We're both in the front seat asleep.
Yeah.
I guess the girl's asleep back, too. So next thing I know, we both fucking hit the fucking windshield. Fucking Jamie wakes up, grabs the fucking wheels, and we skid off into the median. Well, thank God, what we hit was something traveling in our direction. It was another car. We hit him in the ass end. So I start panicking. I'm like, holy fuck, we're going to jail. We're going to jail, And so the beer that's in the front seat with me, I open the pack up, and now we're in the median, and I start humming these motherfuckers, throwing them. I'm trying to get across the interstate into the woods over there.
Right.
I was so screwed up that I threw the beer all around the car.
Oh, my God.
So then, and brother, I'm telling you, I know this sounds outrageous, and people listening may sound like, no fucking way. But I promise
we believe
God's story. And this is a testament to how over we were. So anyway, here comes the cop, state trooper, black guy. He puts us in the back of the car. Well, he's letting Jamie get in and out. What Jamie's doing is he's going up to we hit these 3 old ladies, right?
Yeah.
And he is talking that shit. And he convinces ladies not to let the ambulance come, that it will be cheaper on their insurance if they just go to the doctor in the morning because they weren't really hurt. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
So no ambulance shows up. No other cops show up. Okay? We're in the back of the car. We are reeking of alcohol. We are.
Right.
And this cop says, you guys been drinking tonight? No, sir. He wrote something down. He said, this beer that's all around y'all's car, does that belong to y'all? No, sir.
Yeah.
We just crashed into a 12-pack. So he wrote something else down. The next thing I know, Jimmy, this is the crazy part. The tow truck shows up because the car wouldn't start. Jamie tried to start as soon as we wrecked and take off. Thank God that probably wouldn't end up working. But they put the car on the tow truck. Them ladies are gone, okay? Them ladies drove away. No ambulance, no nothing. Just that one cop is there. They don't have dash cams back, none of that shit. So They put the car on the tow truck. Me and Jamie and the girl get in the front seat with the tow truck driver. He drives us to Memphis, drops the car and us at the Motel 6. We wake up the next morning and just look at each other like, what in the fuck? How are we not under the jail right now? And so when we get to TV, you know, the bar had already called, you know, telling on us and everything. And that's why I said I had to go back and apologize. But so the story of the reason we got let go is because some of the old timers, you know, were telling them what happened and blah, blah, blah. Like Tommy, and then they're like, was it a black state trooper? Yeah. So he had a reputation for letting the boys go. I forget, they had a nickname for him. I can't remember what it was, something like Smokey Bear or something, I don't know.
Sure.
But at any rate, that is how the story concludes. We did not go to jail, never heard nothing else about it, and I went and apologized, and end of story.
Back then you put heat on us. Yeah. You guys were over, see? They fed you, the big guys, like Gordy, Buddy Landell, they fed you guys until we come in. And then, you know, you're there. We put you over in the ring, but then right when the match was over, we beat the living piss out of y'all. And you did that. See what I'm saying? We beat the piss out of y'all. Let you land. People hitting the ring, and we're beating the piss out of them, too, the guys in the back.
We worked the medics, and I'm not talking about a wrestling team. I'm talking about the paramedics at the Gardens. You guys bloodied us. You, Mark Curtis, and Robert bloodied me, Jamie, and Randy so badly that the EMTs came to the ring, and we sold. We kayfabed.
Yes.
So it's okay. We sold like we were fucking dying, and they treated us as if we were fucking dying. And
yes.
That type of shit right there is what puts asses in the seat.
Man, we're on here and we're talking about such a great situation. Such a great business we have if it's treated right. And if you have people that know what they're doing.
And Ricky, man, we had so much fun. We were serious out there, but we also had fun. Do you remember the time that Jamie had been out, I guess, all night, and then y'all were getting the heat on him, and he had to go up under the ring and throw up? Do you remember that?
Oh, you damn right. Look here. I'm standing over the top of him. I looked at him. I said, Jamie, I'm 40-something years old. I ain't been to bed in 35 fucking years. Get your ass up.
Robert come over. I'm on the apron. Robert comes over to me and like swings me, but as he does, he said, "Your fucking pussy partner's under the ring throwing up."
Oh yeah. Hey, my wife Andrea was with us. You know, she traveled with us. We stuck her in there. Hey, and she's over there. She's throwing up on the other side. You know, because she got a weak stomach. I'm just. Oh man. But you know what? He crawled his little ass back in that ring and went back to work, didn't he?
He sure did. He sure did.
I'm right, he did.
Do you remember this one? Me and Jamie, this was Louisville again, and me and him before the show had went to Kentucky Kingdom at the water park and got drunk. And then we showed up. We're working you guys. Y'all in the hills. We're the baby faces. And Jimmy, they kept calling spots for us, you know, babyface spots that would end and say arm drag. I'd go to arm drag when they'd pull their arm away.
Oh, yeah.
Or they'd call fucking something that ends with a drop kick. I go to drop kick them, they move out the way. So they're fucking, the babyface looking like fucking idiots out there because Ricky and Robert are just fucking with us because we're drunk.
Yeah, that's awesome. But we had a good time. But it was, but you see, Wolfie, at that time in our business, nobody knew but us.
Exactly.
Yeah, it was really cool. Y'all had Randy Hales with y'all. We had Mark Curtis with us, and you know, he's a little bitty mean ass little referee, and it was so cool, man. He'd screw y'all, and here come Randy Hales. And see, everything, Wolfie, made sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
And every week got bigger. We kept doing more and adding more people and da-da-da-da-da. You know, it just got better and better and better. And, the money that the towns were making, the gate don't lie. The shit was working. And
and you're right. You know, and it's to be in a situation. You know, when you keep a territory afloat, and you got to understand, this is after Dundee's gone. This is after Lawler's gone.
Yeah,
I think all them were gone.
Yeah, Lawler and Jeff were on both.
Yeah, they went to WWF, didn't they?
Yeah.
Yes, and it was just us. And see, when you keep a territory afloat like that, that's accomplishing a lot.
Hell yeah.
Chris, the funniest thing, there's no way we can get out of this without talking about the fucking car wreck.
No.
Okay, so here's
It's in the book.
Is it?
Yeah, it's in the book.
That's awesome. Okay, I don't know what your take on it was, but here's my take on it. We're going down I-40 from Memphis, headed to Nashville, and Chris was driving. Todd was in the passenger seat. I think I'm behind Chris, and Jamie is next to me. And we're driving. What was he driving? Like a big, giant Malibu or something?
Todd had a 77 shit brown Malibu.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So there's the picture. There's the pictures. So we're going down the road, and fucking Chris is driving. And Chris, I love you, but you're not the best driver ever. But Chris, we're talking about something.
When you got PG-13 in the back seat distracting you.
Okay, so Chris turns around, and he's legitimately, like, looking in the back seat, talking to me and Jamie. Next thing I know, we're in you got the passing lane, got the driving lane on the right there. We are in the right lane, I mean, fucking 10 feet from a semi-truck.
Which was going like 40 miles an hour.
If you say so.
He wasn't moving.
Okay. All right, Chris. All right. So Chris is turned around legitimately with his arm and this is bench seats in the front and, big car. Chris is turned around with his arm on the back seat there, how you would turn around in a bench seat, and he's talking to me and Jamie, and we're legitimately, like I said, 10 feet from this fucking semi, and me and Jamie go, Chris, and we point forward. And he looks forward and sees that we're about to ram this truck in the back end. Chris jerks the wheel to the left, and you got to understand this big boat of a car we were driving. He jerks it to the left, and then he jerks it back to the right. And okay, let me throw this in there. It had snowed, I think, Chris, the day before?
Something like that. There was like just a thin patch of snow in the median. Grass.
And so Chris jerks it back to the right. And the only way I can describe this in my memory is that it was like a cartoon, because we were sliding sideways next to this semi. When he jerked it back the other way, we were legitimately sideways in the passing lane, and this truck was in the slow lane, and so we're sideways. The way I can describe it as a cartoon character would be that I saw Chris and Todd in the front seat look back at me and Jamie, and I could see, that little thing in your throat? What's that little thing called?
The uvula.
Anyway.
Well, if you hadn't asked me, I could have told you.
Anyway, both of their mouths were wide open, and I saw both of those things jiggling as they both went, ah! And me and Jamie were going, holy fuck. And we slid backwards into the fucking median, and we thought we were going to go into oncoming traffic. This was on I-40, so you got two lanes. So we slid into the median, and we were backwards at this point, thought we were going to go into oncoming traffic on the other side of I-40, but thank God, for whatever reason, it stopped us in the median. You remember that, Chris?
And we're facing back towards Memphis.
Absolutely. So then, all of a sudden, because we had just passed an overpass, and we're like, holy fuck, we're fucked. And we weren't doing any drugs or doing any drinking or anything like that, suddenly this state trooper from the underpass that we just fucking had a mess in pulls down to where we are. The cop comes over, and Chris, remind me on this, because I remember what I thought he said. And who did he get out of the car? It was either you or Todd.
I'm thinking it was Todd, because didn't Todd make me switch places with him?
I don't remember that.
Or he was going to, and then the cop accused us of switching places?
Yeah. Here's what I remember, is I rolled the window down just a little bit. Me and Jamie, like I said, we're in the back seat. And I remember the cop saying, "Are y'all on drugs?" and somebody said no or something like that. And I looked at Jamie. He said something like, "Are y'all blowing snow up my ass?" And I looked at Jamie and I said, "The cop just said they're blowing snow up his ass." and I don't remember, but he let us go. I mean, that was the funny part.
He told us that he said he was going to go finish up what he was doing. He told us to stay right there.
Yeah.
And then like an amount of time it went by, and Todd said, "Fuck it, let's just go." So we took off.
Yeah, that's so funny, man. That's so funny. And I don't doubt that. And there's parts of my stuff that I don't remember, but I do remember I had the window cracked, and I looked at Jamie and I said, "He just told him he's blowing." He's blowing.
I wish I remember that part.
He said, I'm blowing snow up your ass," but what he really said was, "Stop blowing smoke up my asses and stop lying to me." But I thought he said, "Stop blowing snow up my ass."
I wish I remember that part.
That was funny stuff, man. But I swear to God, all I remember about that is we were legitimately sideways on the road next to a semi, and y'all were looking back, and I swear I saw that little thing in y'all's throat dangling and wiggling and shit. That's what I remember, man, like Scooby-Doo or some shit.
I can remember, I think I said in there, and the way I've told the story before is that as we were hitting that median, that y'all are screaming like you're on a fucking roller coaster ride or something. Like y'all were enjoying it.
It was
and I thought we were dying.
Yeah, it's lucky we didn't, man.
Tell us this story about you and Mr. Dundee having a little backstage conversation here.
Yeah, so the deal was, Bill was, and to put it, the only way I know to say it, was very jealous of the push we were getting. Bill tried to block us from even getting a job at USWA. It's strange that he would try to block his own kid, but, wrestlers and their kids sometimes have strange relationships. But anyway, as we start getting that push and everything, he's knocking us to the office. He's doing this, he's doing that, but yet on his gimmick table, and Bill's one of them old school guys. He's there at 6 o'clock with everything out there before the doors open, making his money on his gimmicks. And one picture he's got is one of myself, Jamie, and him all standing in the ring together. So he's selling this picture. I don't remember. They're, the 5x7s or 4x6s or whatever they were, that everybody sold, for a little extra to get the three of us together. So that's kind of hurting. Why would somebody want to buy one individual Bill Dundee picture and one individual PG-13 picture when they can get one picture of all of us, for a little bit less? So I went to Jamie. I said, "You know what, Jamie?" I said, "This is bullshit, man." I said, "He's cutting in on our money." I said, and then, beyond that, he's knocking us to the office every freaking week. I said, he needs to give us some money out of that. Jamie said, "Man, that's my dad, man. I can't say nothing, man. I can't say nothing to him. You say something to him." I said, "Fine."
Oh, man.
I forget. It was a spot show. I believe it was a Buddy Wayne show, like on a Friday night or something. And I think it was in Mississippi or something like that. And so Bill is in the dressing room, very small little high school gym in a small town, and he's laying down. He's already dressed. He's laying down on a bench. And so I walk in there, and I'm trying not to do this in front of the boys, right? And so I said, "Hey, Bill," I said, "Can I have a word with you? Can you step out here?" I wanted to get out of the dressing room and get into the hallway there. It was just me and him. And he said, "You got something to say to me, mate? You say it right here." And that wasn't the greatest Bill Dundee impression, but
it'll work.
So he said, I said, okay, Bill. I said, I'm trying to do this, professionally. And I said, I think it's bullshit, Bill, that, you're knocking us, blah, 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 blah. You got this picture out here. I said, I want some money off that picture. I said, you owe it to us. Because, just what I explained to you about the reason, people would buy that one instead of two individuals.
Right. Yeah.
And he got to mouthing, and then I got to mouthing, and I don't remember what words were said, but the final thing was he started to set up on the bench, and I said, okay, Bill, then I kind of put my hands out to the side, and I said, well, what the fuck's up then? Fighting words, what the fuck's up? I mean, let's go.
Yeah. And
he said, you want to know what's up? I'll show you what's up. And he fucking reaches into his boot and he pulls out his fucking knife, about a 12-inch fucking knife.
Oh, my God.
So I took a step backwards, obviously, and he stands up with the knife in his hand and kind of starts coming at me. Well, thankfully, Randy Hales and Doug Gilbert were there, and Doug grabbed like I said, this was like a high school. So you remember, I think it was a overhead projector. You remember how they had them on those little carts that they'd wheel into the classroom or whatever?
Yeah.
So there's one of those carts, and like I said, I believe it was an overhead projector that was on top of it. So Doug takes that thing and just pushes it and kind of gets in between us and puts the cart and the projector like in between us, so that creates a barrier where Bill can't come stab my guts out. And that was the end of that. They ended up, Bill had to leave right then. Randy fired him right there on the spot, and, he left and whatnot. But me and Bill, we'll talk more about this, of him coming back, because like I said, they fired him right there. Now, he did end up coming back, and Lawler and Randy both came to me and said, hey, we want to do this angle. Of course, they wanted to, capitalize off the shoot incident in the dressing room and have you and Bill work an angle. At first, I was like, fuck, no. But then I got to thinking about that. Might be some money, you know what I mean? And so we ended up doing it with me and Bill over that.
Let's take a quick time out and get a word from one of my dope-ass sponsors, and we'll be right back with more Live and in Color with Wolfie D. Hey folks, this is Wolfie D here, and if you are looking to buy or sell a home in Tennessee or Southern Kentucky, you're going to want to call my buddy, the rock star realtor, Benji Bowie. And you say, Wolfie, how do I get in touch with this rock star? Well, you can call him directly at 615-390-8216. You can go to his website, bowiehomes.com. That's B-U-I-E homes.com. Or you can email him at benbowie34@gmail.com. When you need a home, you need the Rockstar Realtor.
Benji is a member of Exit Realty's Garden Gate team in Gallatin, Tennessee.
This is Steve Bowtie Bryant here. Back in the 90s, I was a pro wrestling photographer for the South, and I released what might have been one of the original sets of indie trading cards. I ran across some of these original sets. They were up in Randall Fanning's attic all this time. PG-13 rookie card, Ricky Morton, George Weingroff as the Sheep, Chris Champion, Reno Riggins, Billy Montana, Gary Valiant, the Scorpion, the Medic, Rick Reynolds, Jeff Daniels, Mephisto and Dante, Ben Jordan, Steve Neely, Marcus Woodrow, Clinton Charisma, Little Farmer John. If you'd like an opportunity to get these cards, contact me now. You can get them for only $49.99. Contact me at stevebowtiebryant at iCloud.com. Get your set now while supplies last.
In Central City, this is a wild story. Somebody almost killed me. The finish of the match, I think the guy's name was Kentucky Trapper, and I was still Airwolf. And the finish of the match was I got somebody pinned or something, like a Pat O'Connor roll-up or something like that. And brother runs down, and he's supposed to powder me. And I don't remember if there was a move after, but, 1, 2, 3. So this guy comes down, and he's doing a run-in. So why he would have it stored, you remember those little black film that you would put camera film in, those little bitty cases with the gray lid on them that popped off?
Yeah.
Okay. So baby powder and that, right? And he does the run-in, he slides in, and I'm blowed up. I didn't work the whole match. And instead of taking the top off, dumping the powder in his hand, and throwing it at me, he pops the top off and, like, throws it from the little container, never takes it out of the container. So basically a container-shaped wad of baby powder is projected through the air, never fans out or anything. And as he does that, like I said, I'm winded, and I was taking an inhale. This motherfucking clog of baby powder went in my throat.
Oh my God.
And you talk about not being able to fucking breathe. And seriously, it suffocated me. I went down, and thank God I was able to throw up. And it cleared my airway, and then 1, 2, 3 or whatever. But literally, I thought I was gonna die. I mean, it was real quick, but I couldn't breathe. And you think of like a fire extinguisher putting out a fire is kind of what baby powder is gonna do to your fucking throat.
Right.
Lodged in there, you know what I'm saying?
Oh,
so yeah, that's a Beaver Dam story. Well, like I said, that was Central City, but it was the same. They weren't too far from each other, and it was the same guy running the shows.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, God, dude, I can just imagine. You're like, am I dying now? Is it?
Yeah,
I mean, you had so many.
The way I'm going.
Yeah, this is it. Oh, baby powder. And you know what? I remember some other things maybe being stored in those type canisters. So
yeah.
Anyway, maybe this.
I remember this was one of my best memories of you. I remember sitting in your apartment, and it was me, you, Tracy, and Hop. And you said, Pondo, let me show you this videotape. And you put this videotape in, and I can't remember who threw it. I know that was one of the Adcocks, but they threw it. They went to throw powder in your face, but they sweated, so the powder clumped up into a ball, and I watched that ball leave their head and slide right down into your throat and damn near kill you because you couldn't breathe.
It's funny that you say that because, Jimmy, what episode? That was like 2 episodes ago or something. We were talking about that. Yeah, you told that story. Yeah, because it was Kentucky Trapper. That probably rings a bell with you. And
it does.
He had the powder in one of those black film capsules, and instead of taking it out and pouring it into his hand and then throwing it, he threw it from the capsule, which left it in a lump. And I was blowed up, and I think I had the guy like in a Scorpion Deathlock or something, and I was blowed up, and I was like 15. The fucking lump went down my throat. I almost died. I mean, I could not breathe. If you can imagine baby powder in your throat when you blow it up, and then all of a sudden, the only thing that saved me was that I threw up. I threw up in the ring, and it then the finish or whatever. But yeah, that's funny that you say that because we just talked about that. Like what, Jimmy, 2 weeks ago?
Yeah, it was literally 2 episodes ago because I remember keeping other kind of gimmicks in those things, and it's a good thing that it wasn't another gimmick.
Yeah.
The scariest moment for you in wrestling, was there a moment that was like, holy crap?
I think we talked about this too. There was a time when I was like 16 and it was in Kentucky, and the finish was I got this dude, I think in a sharpshooter, a Boston Crab, something like that. And this dude runs out and he's supposed to throw powder in my face and blind me and whatever. And
he put it in a photo, one of those old black photo things you put film in. He put the powder in there, and instead of opening and putting it into his hand and throwing it and make it spread everywhere, he opened the top and threw it from the container, and I was blowed up. And when he threw it, I was inhaling, and so baby powder in a big chunk went down my throat. I couldn't breathe. I really could not breathe. I was going to die. And I threw up in the ring to get it out. That's the only way I could breathe, was to throw up. So, yeah, that was pretty scary.
Yeah, that's frightening, dude. I mean, it's hilarious to think about. But oh, my God.
But it's like, why was he so dumb that he wouldn't but that's the thing, man. Some of these guys, and even back then, man, this was probably like 1990, maybe 91. But even back then, that's when the business was changing and nobody got trained right. It's like, this some bitch did not know to dump it in his hand and throw it to get the appearance of all the, spread of the whiteness and, it went in his eyes, blah, blah, blah. No, this motherfucker just chunked at my throat.
Oh, my God.
Seriously. Come on, man. It's dumb.
God. Yeah, seriously dumb. I mean, because the cloud, putting it in your hand and spreading it, it's going to make it look like there's so much more instead of this flying white ball.
That is the theatrical effect of the powder gimmick that doesn't exist anymore. But that was, back then you threw powder in somebody's eyes. Oh, shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And, the theatrical effect of the powder, it needs to go everywhere so you can fucking grab your eyes and sell and back reel and all that kind of stuff. This motherfucker just threw it down my throat.
Oh, man, I'm sorry. Dear God, that is so funny. I hear all the time now, people still ask me, man, who are the two white rappers? Where did they go? What happened? I'm like, Jamie and Wolfie. And I was like, they're the best workers of the bunch. You guys, the word special keeps coming in my head. And I'm just going to say it. You guys were special. Yeah. And that's that character that connects. Think about this. You have two guys who are in the world of wrestling undersized. But when you got in the ring, no one ever saw you as undersized.
Yeah.
You worked bigger than what you were, and you were bigger stars than anyone ever imagined. And it's like, I go back to that word special. You guys had that special thing that connected to the people. Like just on the entrance there.
Yeah.
You were no different than any other greats walking down to the ring. And then you went in the ring, and then you showed everybody you could hang with anybody. So, for me, I love the whole PG-13 vibe, character. I think you two guys it felt like you two could read each other's minds because you had been in there so many times together.
Yeah, absolutely. We could look at each other and know what spot we were going to do, even if it wasn't.
And you don't get that anymore. You don't get that because that comes from guys being together for years. That's Ricky and Robert level connection.
Absolutely.
That's God bless them, Midnight Express level connection.
Yeah.
The Fantastics, the Freebirds, PG-13 is right there.
Oh man, thank you, D-Lo.
Here's a question I never asked of you.
Yeah.
And it just popped on me right now. How did that play when you guys went home?
What do you mean?
In your real lives, like, did anyone from Memphis or anything or wherever you live at the time be like, dude, why y'all doing that? Was that ever asked
No,
you?
It never came up, man. It never came up. I'll tell you the story, D-Lo, is funny that, okay, so Cornette was the one that got us that deal. And they sent us money to go get, go buy these jackets, go buy these hats, gold tees, rings, whatever. And they told me what they wanted me to say and blah, 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 and I wrote the rap.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'll tell you this, and this is so funny, and I've talked about it on this show before. I wrote the rap. We went up there to the Titans Towers with Jim Johnson.
Yep.
And
a musical genius, by the way.
Absolutely, man. He was great.
Musical genius.
Here was the thing. He told me, what he wanted me to say or whatever, and I wrote it. And we went up there, we recorded it. And then 96 Survivor Series, Vince is standing at the end of the ramp, and he wants to see his new thing or whatever. And Jim Johnson had given us a cassette tape. When we came up there and recorded it, he gave us a cassette tape, and me and Jamie, it was kind of like Run DMC. We pitched it back and forth, with the lyrics and whatnot. And so it was, "We are the nation of domination." And then it was supposed to go with the lyrics. Well, Vince is standing down at the bottom of the ramp, and it was, "We are the nation of domination." Boom. And we start singing, and then all of a sudden, "We are the nation." It kicks in again. And we're like, "Oh, shit, that's not how it's supposed to go." It's supposed to be, a few more minutes before it kicks in. And so Vince was like, what the fuck? So we had to, on the fly, fix it. And D-Lo, that Jamie is not the most lyrically inclined person in the world, so I had to fix it right there in front of Vince, and that's kind of a funny story.
How long did it take you to write the Nation rap?
Couple days, probably. Couple days.
See, now this is where I get interested. Where did I get you were given the idea of what to say, but where did the words come from? Like, how did you marry that? Because I love the creative. I can't write a rap, but I love the creative genius behind it.
Yeah.
So where did those words come from?
Man, honestly, they just told me this is kind of what you need to say or whatever. And my thing was, because I knew they weren't going to put our name, and I feel like this is special. I put my name and Jamie's name in the thing.
In the song, yeah.
JC Ice and Wolfie D. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And they did not, they were not, "Hey, say this" or whatever, but I made sure to put that in there. So, yeah. And then here's the other thing.
As a true artist there is to sign your work. And that was your way of signing your work.
But the thing is, here's the other thing. I'll tell you on this, and I've said this on a couple of other of my shows. They put, so in that time period, there was the Stone Cold, they got the WWE, the music or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Nation music was on that. Overseas, they had our voices in it. On the U.S. shit, they didn't. So in 1998 or something, I figured this out. And so, you can't go, sue Vince or whatever. But, yeah, they did it on purpose. They took our voices out in the U.S. Shit. And then in the overseas version, they had our voices in it. So, whatever.
I was always mad that I never got a verse because, Farouk had a verse and Crush had a verse and Salu had a verse. And I was like, golly, can D-Lo get a verse in this? I don't know what you'd say, but I wish D-Lo would get a verse in this.
I would have put you in, man. I absolutely would put you in. I swear, man. And I swear, when we showed up, I thought, because we knew you from, Smoky Mountain or whatever. Did you know those other guys? You knew Clarence, I guess. Did you know the other guy?
Clarence, that was all met in wrestling. Clarence and all his boys were all met there because Clarence was just a fan who somehow worked his way in to getting that spot. So I had never met Clarence before. Now, Clarence and I have subsequently become friends, and we're still friends to this day.
Yeah.
But before then, nope.
That's funny, man. I mean, because we show up, and like I said, I think I said this earlier, it's just like, I knew D-Lo, I knew, me and Jamie, whatever, but I didn't know the other guys in suits, so who was going to do this and who was going to do that, and what I mean?
If you really want to get a little deep, all those guys in suits were Clarence Mason's fraternity brothers, and he would find them in whatever city we were in. He'd find a local chapter of his fraternity, and he would say, "I need 4 or 5 brothers," and that's how it happened.
That's funny.
That's how he would get different nation members in each city that Raw was being taped in.
When did it come to you that me and Jamie were probably like, oh, they're going to get rid of him?
it never came before. It was after the fact. It was showed up at TV and, well, Jamie and Wolfie ain't here anymore. Damn. Like, I had no foreknowledge. Like, it was kind of like, I always thought because of your connections with Lawler, you guys would be okay.
Yeah.
Because, you know, wrestling, it's about connections. It's about people who help take care of you.
Right.
I always thought because you connect with Lawler, you guys would be okay.
Right.
It was literally the TV I came into after you guys have been let go. It was, all right, Jamie Wolfie aren't here anymore. We gotta pivot the nation this way.
Yeah.
And then
do you remember that? Do you remember that where it was right after WrestleMania? They made us do the thing with the Road Warriors, and me and Jamie said, fuck it. And we told, the Road Warriors, I mean, which were good friends of ours, and we were like, fuck it. And they were like, yeah, we get it. So we ran outside and we packed our bags. We were not going to do it. Do you remember that night?
I don't remember that. You were supposed to get, like, run over by the Road Warriors?
Yeah.
You know what?
Yeah, and we were like, fuck it. And so
I do remember that. Yes.
Yeah,
they were going to steamroll you. Yes.
Yes, and we went to the car, and Jim Ross and Shawn Michaels chased us out to the car, and they're like, hey, we'll give you this money, we'll do this, we'll do that, come in here and do this and do that. And we're like, whatever, man. I know what y'all are doing. And it was a thing where Candido, because at the same time we were working for WWE, ECW, and USWA, so like everybody was mad at us. You know what I mean? It was like weird. So yeah, kind of a funny thing, but whatever. Who hasn't done the road?
I wasn't mad. I wasn't mad at you. I loved you guys, so it's all good.
Yeah, we loved you too, man. The whole thing at Ian's show, because I feel like, I mean, you got over there, and that's why I asked you about that, but you got over there. So me and Jamie were there to work you and Ox Harley, and I specifically, and, you know, everybody remembers things differently or whatever, and we never had no problem with you, but it was the first time I met Ox or whatever, and we were working for WWE, and we were not supposed to bleed at that point. I mean, we were there, and they kept telling everybody, no blade jobs, even if you work outlaw shows, no blade jobs. So it's you know, the whole thing was there, fans can bring their weapons and blah, 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 blah. And so I remember telling both of you, I said, you know, hit me with, you know, chairs, stop signs, whatever. I'm fine with that. But just none of that dumb shit. And when I say dumb shit, you know what I mean at this point. I do.
No stuff that could have been used as hypodermic needles with somebody else or something like that. And actually, you know, I've told the story before, but I thought it was Ox that brought it into to play, but it was actually Jamie that brought it into play.
It was Jamie. You're right. I was getting ready to say that.
Yeah.
So Jamie brought it in, and I didn't care. You know, hit me with it all you want. Hell, that was my job there. I didn't even see later that Jamie had hit Ox with it. But here's the thing, and this is where I always wanted to tell you this, but I never had the chance, but now I do.
Right.
Jamie did something to me where I was selling down. You know, he had already brought the thumbtack bat. It was a thumbtack bat, which is a plastic bat with tacks on it. And so I'm down on my hands and knees selling, but the IWA crowd, you know how bloodthirsty they was. They are pushing that thing in my hand, saying, Pondo, here's this, use this. So please watch the videotape again, and you're going to see that I've got that thing out to the left side of me.
Yeah.
And the hit that I gave you was mostly my fist. That way you could get a hold of it and beat us up with it. But I dropped it, and then Ox picked it up, and I believe he used it on you.
Yeah.
Am I thinking this right so far? Because I dropped it, correct? When I hit you with it, I dropped the bat.
I mean, in my head, and I have seen the video,
I remember some kind of way it ends up in my hand, and I'd already been hit with it, and it put a butt because I blocked him when he swung at me, and I had a bunch of holes in the back of my arm, and I hit with it, and then just out of frustration, madness, I hit you with it.
I didn't care though. I stood there and let you do it, and then I think that pissed you off more that we wasn't selling for it, but that was kind of our thing. And then I remember you swung it at Ox's face.
In my mind, and on the video, you'll see I hit both of you, and I threw it down. I was like, in my mind, I was like, okay, let's not fuck with this no more. You guys see I'm pissed off, so let's don't do this. And that's when Ox punched me, like punched me. And I looked at him, and I said, is that all you got? He punched me again. And so, that's when the whole thing started. And then Ian cleared the dressing room. And then, I don't know why I even did that. But anyway, then, when we got back in the ring, that's when me and Ox shot with each other. And,
yeah. I was the only dumbass throwing work punches. So here's the thing. I'll also tell you this part. So when Jamie got out of jail, he did this shoot interview with Jake Manning, and he starts telling a story about how I started attacking you from behind, and he come up and grabbed me by the throat and pulled me backwards. And I went and I got the videotape, and while you and Ox are fighting, Jamie went and hit Ox with the hubcap. I scooped him up by his neck and pulled him back, and I remember Jamie tapping me on my arms going, Pondo, we cool. And I let him go, and he went back after Ox. And then you guys got in the ring.
That's really the funniest part of it. Me and Ox were fucking shooting like hell, and you guys were working.
Yeah.
But anyway, man, I mean, it's the wrestling business, man.
Hell yeah. Later on, I got booked with Joe Bailey at BBW, and Ox was on the card, but you was not on the card, but somehow you got on the card, and I was like, you guys cool? And he was like, oh, fuck yeah, and then I knew everything was cool after that, but cool like you said, it was all the wrestling business.
Yeah, we're cool now. I talk to Ox every now and then, and he the funniest part is that Ox always says, Wolfie D made me famous. On YouTube everywhere, he said Wolfie D made me famous. So,
hell yeah,
it was just a thing. I slapped Jamie in the fucking locker room over there. And this was actually for Bert Prentice and them. We were all, when I told you, me and Jamie and Chris Michaels and the Midge and Gypsy and all them, we all lived in the same apartment complex. Bobby Eaton, and I don't know. I had invited Jamie and his girl over for dinner. My girl cooked. It was like before let's eat before we go to the show, and we cooked and all this. And then motherfucker no-showed, and it fucking pissed me off that that we cooked for him and everything, and then he didn't fucking show up. And so when I got to the building, he was sitting down, and I started fucking just going off on him, and he said something, and he was sitting in a chair, and I was standing up, and I just slapped him. I didn't punch him, I just slapped him. And he didn't do shit. Put his head down, started shaking. I think I actually slapped him again. But it pissed me off. So that's not man. Me and Jamie, this is going off the topic of TNA real quick, but I know there's one story that we never talked about, was the one where, and this relates because me and Jamie have fought more than one time. And the first time it happened, though, was in Memphis, and we were staying at this lady's trailer, and we got into it, and there was always in the back of my head of, he's Bill Dundee's boy, he might could fight. You know what I mean? So we never really tried each other. Well, he was standing on the stairs that lead down out of the trailer, and I was on the ground. Well, I started to turn. We exchanged words. I didn't know what was mad at each other about, no telling. But he jumped
off the steps and punched me. Boom. And I went down because he kind of came almost like a cross-body punch. You know what I'm saying? Like a Fez press punch.
Yeah.
So he was on top, and I reached up and I put my thumb in his eye, and I felt it pop out and pop back in. And it was, instantly his eye was black and swollen shut. I mean, I felt it. It was the weirdest feeling. I've never done that to anybody before, but I hooked that thumb in his eye, and I felt it go bloop, bloop. And then I grabbed him. And of course, he let go of me at that point. He grabbed his.
Yeah, I bet.
I rolled him over, and then I was on top, and I just started knucking him. And like I said, his eye was instantly black. You can go back and look. It was when I think me and him were actually the first time they broke us up in Memphis. We were feuding with each other, and he showed up TV with a big old black eye where I put my thumb.
Oh man. Yeah, go on YouTube, kids, and watch that one. We'll know the story behind it.
Jerry Jarrett tells the story that he pulls Galanto's eyeball out, literally all the way out, and it's on the mat. And, so Lawler has since, said, I was in the ring. I didn't see that. And Dutch is just making fun of it and everything.
Right. Yeah.
Which brought me to the story.
Well, I mean, hey, listen, the Vader's eyeball came out in the ring.
Yeah.
So it's possible.
Yeah.
It is possible.
Yes, but not all the way.
Yeah, it was dangling.
Listen, it's only on a little string. It's on a little fucking vein thing, So I mean, honestly, it can string. Yeah, it can pop out.
Oh my
God!
God!
What's going with that is that it's somebody said wrestlers always go for the eyeballs.
I did because y'all do.
Yeah. Wolfie tried to poke my eye out too one time. I got a picture. He got a black eye.
Oh man.
Yeah.
How does that feel?
Because I told him he loved somebody. Motherfucker poked my eye because he said he loved somebody.
It could have been
what the fuck, man?
Yeah, might have been.
I said, you love her. He said, I don't love her, you cocksucker. And I had a handful of crack, and I was going in the fucking house to smoke crack, and Wolfie jumped on me, fucking pokes my eye out.
No.
Oh, man.
No.
Well, I jumped off the porch on him, but I never dropped that crack, brother. I never let go of that shit, bro.
I bet it was still every piece.
And then
listen, then Wolfie's at 2 a.m. He's on the fucking porch. He's hollering, Shane! Jamie! Where are you, Jamie? Oh, yeah. The whole trailer park told me. The whole trailer park we did. He was on lot 9 and I was down at 14. He's hollering, Jamie!
What was that movie about, Jamie? What was that
Shane? Shane.
Yeah.
That line was from Shane. Don't go, Shane. Yeah. That's an old
Great
60s movie.
Yeah.
It's old 50s and 60s movie. Don't go, Shane. My daddy did that to Jim Duggan when he left fucking Louisiana. Bill said, don't go, Jim.
Yeah.
Jim, don't go.
Yeah. That's amazing.
My first time was, it was a Buddy Wayne show for USWA. It was, I want to say Blytheville, Arkansas. No security, no police, no rope or barrier around the ring. So you just had front row, and that was it. It was, no padding, no nothing. I've talked about that. That's just how it was, man. And, he and his mouth can get us into so much trouble. And he looked at the guy. I was wrestling Danny Davis. It was a singles match. I think the first match on the card, actually. Me against Danny Davis, the founder of OVW. And Jamie gets on the mic, and he's burying everybody like he always does. And he looks at this guy, and he says, "Hey, buddy, if that was my ugly old lady, I wouldn't bring her out in public." So this guy gets fucking hot, and he steps up, gets out of the chair, he steps up, and like I said, it's my match. I'm in the ring. Me and Danny are start. Jamie's on the floor and says that to him. Well, Jamie jumps up on the apron outside the rope still, but with his face facing the crowd and this guy that's coming at him. So people do not know how to get in the ring. I have learned this over my years. Unless you're a wrestler that's taught how to properly get in the ring, you do this weird thing where you step over the second rope, then put your other foot over the second rope, and then your head is like doing the limbo with the third rope. That's what most people will do. They get in a wrestling ring. Yes, and I learned that just
from this, and then also just like taking pictures in the middle of the ring. When Polaroids were a thing, we'd have them lined up and they'd get in the ring. They just had no idea how to get in. So anyway, this guy starts coming at Jamie. Jamie jumps up on the apron, and then he dips into the ring. So this guy does what I just described, 1 foot in, 1 foot in. So he's now trapped in the Harley race bingo fucking spot. I don't know what else to call it. Where when he got into that position, I grabbed him by the hair and I just started knucking him. Boom. So his head is outside the top rope, and then the rest of his body is inside the ring. So I just reach over the top rope, a handful of hair, boom, boom, boom. I start drilling the guy. Well, I turn around. And then there's Jamie. Jamie's in the middle of the ring. Then also there's this little old man. He appeared to be about 170 years old. I mean, this little old man, I mean, he had overalls on. I mean, it was just the classic old man of where we were at the time in Arkansas. So he's standing there, and he's got his hands, like he's in a somewhat of a fighting position. I don't know if I want to call it that, but he's got his hand kind of reached in his pocket. And these old motherfuckers will cut you, man. You ask the old timers, cut you, man. And so I didn't know what to do. I swear to God, at this time, I was 19 years old. And the toughest thing I could say without, like, I didn't know what to do. Do I hit this old 90-year-old man? And it was just all going through my head. Am I going to jail if I do it? You know, blah. Right. So I look at him and I said, you need to get the fuck out of the ring. That's all I said to him. I didn't know what else to say. Well, about that time, Jamie grabs him by his collar and fucking boom, fucking throws him down on his back. And I'm like, oh shit. But you broke him. Jamie starts putting the boots to him, but he's fucking working kicking him. He's giving him working stomp. But the funniest part was, this is the shoot. He throws him down and then starts working kicking this old man. It was great. So anyway, that happens, and so that makes somebody else mad. This other guy gets in the ring, and Frank Morrell, who was the French Angel, Frank was a big referee. Anybody that watched Memphis knows Frank. So Frank was the referee. Well, Frank, the next guy that comes in, Frank grabs him and just like hooks him in the corner. He puts his hands on the second rope and has his shoulder into the guy's abdomen and has him hooked in the corner. So I walk over to that guy and I just fucking punch him. Boom. Well, I don't even know after that point how it got settled down, but those people were thrown out by, like I said, there was no security done, but it all settled down, and then me and Danny had our match.
Yeah. I mean, that's exactly what I wanted to know. The thing about fighting an old man, it's like fighting a kid, it's like fighting a woman. If you lose, it looks horrible, but if you beat them up, it looks horrible. So there's no winning there, you know?
Davey down and started working kicking him. I guess that's what you do.
Right.
Is there a story of Midget D in the cooler?
Oh, man, I'm sure there is. I don't remember that one exactly. He could be referring to, and it would not surprise me if he ended up in a fucking cooler. But when he would get drunk, he would. See, you have to understand, Danny was his name. Danny had the mind of a child, legitimately. I'm not making fun or anything like that. He legitimately was underdeveloped that way, where he had the mind of a child, the maturity level of a child.
Yeah.
And so dealing with him was difficult sometimes, especially if you got him drinking, and he liked to do other things too. So, I mean, he's having an underdeveloped brain that's jammed out on whatever, you know, you can only imagine. So, And that brings Dale Mann back into the conversation too, because Danny's parents died when he was real little. I remember a picture. It was almost haunting that he had kept, and he kept with him, of his mother lying in her coffin and him as a younger little person standing there. And you know, he had a kind of a mean look anyway, but he had this really mad, mean look on his face. And it was a Polaroid. So you can imagine the quality and colors in the picture and everything. And I just remembered always thinking that is weird. I'm sorry, but that's weird. But that just tells you kind of, I don't know. I always think it's like nowadays, people, when their loved ones are in a hospital dying, they take a picture of it, put it on Facebook. I'm like, please, if any son of a bitch comes and takes a picture of me on my deathbed and puts it on Facebook, I want them to follow me.
Right, exactly.
Anyway, back to the thing. Okay, so Dale like had adopted him or something like that and kind of raised him and put him in the wrestling business. So he would get drunk and he would just disappear. We'd be at the hotel or wherever, at a bar, whatever, and he would just disappear. I do recall one particular incident where we found him. Like, this was a hotel where the rooms were on the inside, not access from the outside, so you didn't have open breezeways. You had, stairs with walls and shit.
Yeah, yeah.
This dude was on the bottom floor, up under the steps, like just there, just like a little troll.
Wow.
He would do stuff like that. So I mean, I'm sure he did end up at a cooler sometime. So we're in Memphis. Me, Jeff Jarrett, Jamie, little Danny, and we couldn't find him. Like I said, he disappeared. Well, first we catch him. He's on the bar, walking up and down the bar, and he's fucking hammered. And then he disappears again after that. And the only way we found him was there. And, this club in Memphis was predominantly black. And Danny, he was a bit of a racist.
Okay.
And, so we find him in a circle surrounded by patrons of the bar. Okay.
Yeah.
He's cussing, and he's not what we just call the M as invented. He was using the N word quite radically. But the part about it was they knew who he was because he was on TV with us.
Yeah.
And it was making them laugh. And I'm grateful that it was making them laugh because that could have been a bad scene. But
yeah.
They were laughing about it because, he had that speech impediment. And I guess just the fact, some people, being in the wrestling business, I've been around quite a few little people. And some people have it. And, some people even have phobias of it and stuff like that.
Sure. Yeah.
So I don't know if it was just those combinations of things made it hilarious to him, like a little Chucky doll was sitting there cussing him out. So I don't know, but it was me and Jeff grabbed him and went over. And there was this big old chair, like an antique, very nice chair that sat at the front of the entranceway to this bar. I can't remember the name of which one it was, but so we put him up in the chair. Of course, his little feet don't even reach the end of the cushion. And, it looks hilarious that he's sitting in this big, Victorian style chair. And as the bar closes, all the people are like throwing quarters and dollars and like just throwing money on as almost thank you for entertaining us tonight. Just like, what the fuck, man? And so when it's time to go, I mean, he's completely out of it. I mean, like nearly like not like coherent talking. I'm talking out. He's out for the count.
Yeah.
So we couldn't get him up. And I talked about earlier about picking up a little person. It's not the easiest thing to do. So me and Jeff I grabbed his feet and Jeff grabbed his hands. And it was, I'm serious, like carrying it is so hard, I felt like we were moving furniture or something. And we get out there and Jeff goes, because it was, me and him were both screwed up too, but it's like the way we were trying to do it was making it probably more harder than it had to be if one of us would just throw him over the shoulder, right? So
right.
He grabs him and he picks him up and he throws him over his shoulder. So Danny's head is at Jeff's hanging down Jeff's back a little bit. And when he landed, okay, of course, his big old butt is kind of right there next to Jeff's face. And when he landed, the pressure of Jeff's shoulder pushing on his stomach made him fart. So Jeff starts laughing, I start laughing, and he drops him right on his fucking head right there in the parking lot.
Oh my God.
Kind of wakes him up, actually, to where he's grabbing his little head and he's like, oh God, whatever. So we put him in the car and we leave. That's the end.
That's amazing. Oh my gosh. That is amazing. Thank you for that story. I can just see all that.
Me too. I still can see it.
Yeah.
If you could see the visuals in my head of what I saw, you would laugh even harder, I promise.
Oh, I'm sure. What I was thinking is, who got the money? Did y'all stick it in his pocket? Or?
I don't remember what. I don't know. I don't have any idea. I can't remember that.
Yeah. I got you. Understand. Yeah.
Is probably Jamie took it.
Okay. Yeah. All right. That's awesome.
One of the infamous characters that was part of our ride, no pun intended there, was the 76, 77 Thunderbird. We had some adventures. And just because I've told some of it, where'd the Thunderbird come from?
Man, my mother had after her, my dad split up many years later, whatever, she had got a boyfriend and he bought another car. So he had it in the backyard. And I said, man, let me have that. He said, it rains, the roof leaks and it rains. I said, I don't give a shit. Let me get that thing. So me and Wolfie towed 4 spare tires in the back every trip. Like every trip, we had 4 tires in the trunk with on rims, aired up, ready to go. Because sometimes we change 2 or 3 tires on the way to the show. That ain't no bullshit. When it rained, it would rain inside the car. We had this big wide Thunderbird. We could just sit shoulder to shoulder and nobody on the other side. It was lots of fun. No air, no heat. It was great. We got pulled over by a cop one time, and he said, where are you boys going in this hunk of shit? I said, well, we're going to wrestle. He said, I heard you boys don't make but $40 a night. And I said, yes, sir. That's what he said. Got a hunk of shit car from Jackson to Humboldt for $40 fucking. He said, I ain't even gonna write y'all ticket because you can't afford to pay it. Y'all boys be safe. That's good stuff.
For those people that don't know, Jackson to Humboldt is what? 30 miles maybe?
About 12 miles or something. And we were driving from Nashville to Arkansas. That guy said, ain't no way in hell when I ride that hunk of shit nowhere.
Yeah.
Call my car a hunk of shit. It was the best one. He said, for $40 fucking, I wouldn't drive that hunk of shit from Jackson to Humboldt. He said, that's good stuff.
And then there was
we've been let go by the police many times over shitty cars or dogs got in the pee or all kind of just crazy shit. Plus just being wrestlers, wrestling was big back then as far as because the internet hadn't killed it yet, and TV, you only had to watch it. It was it wasn't dead yet, as they would say.
Right.
It was the last run, I believe. I believe it was the last run of wrestling.
We had the blowout with Raven before he was Raven, and remember we had to push it over that
over the hill. Yes, sir. That son of a bitch. We ended up leaving it on Briley Parkway in Nashville. We done put another transmission in and said, man, fuck that car, Wolf. Let's go. We took off walking.
That was the final straw, but I'm talking about we had to
that was it. We never went back and got the old Thunderbird. We just left her.
Did the flood take her away?
The flood probably washed her away, but I believe it probably been crushed long before that and sent off to downtown Nashville where the big crane thing is and crushing cars.
Yeah.
I believe that's what they'd have done with that because it was truly a hunk of shit. And it got like 4 miles to the gallon or something. It cost like $85 to go to Memphis, and we were making $80 between us. We were still 5 in the hole before we left.
Oh man,
we ate a mini 99-cent Wendy's Junior Bacon Cheeseburger surviving. You believe it?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
What do you think? Like for you is like that's my shit right there. I did that.
I mean, shit, like you said, there's so many of them, you know. Like,
I'm just talking about
without Danny Davis, when we first started, without Danny Davis matches, we would have never learned to become wrestlers, you know. Yeah. People ask me all the time, did your dad train you? I say, yeah, my dad trained me, but Danny Davis taught me how to work.
Yeah, I say that.
I mean, he did. You know, he honestly did 100%. Just took me and you and said, you know, he taught us the right way in the ring, live in front of people.
Yeah, and before that, even, I mean, think about, we got to work with George Weingroff. We got to work with Terry Adonis.
Oh, yes.
We got to work with dudes.
And Barry Horowitz. You know, I mean, those guys could get down and go, brother. J.D. Wolf, that guy, you know, they don't remember his names, but by God, them guys could go, man. They would kill most of these people up today when it comes to getting down in the ring, man.
Yeah. Who is that, Jimmy? There's some kid or some new guy or something said that the veterans couldn't hang with the new guys. Who was that?
Hangman Page said that.
Yeah. He's the one
who
just got.
Shit, really, man. They would put him in a wrestling hold and they wouldn't know how to get out of it. The match would be over anyway.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
George Weingroff in 1971, the year I was born, he was a fucking Olympic medal winning fucking wrestler and shit, man. I mean.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, but to answer your question, I guess my match that I would say is it would have to be PG-13 versus the Rock and Roll in Louisville.
Oh yeah.
You know, yeah. That moment when that building I mean, that was just what a fucking pop, man. I mean, for real, that was, to me, that is the Andre putting Hogan over moment for me in my career is what I feel.
Right. Yes.
I mean, you know what I mean. I mean, that's what I believe. That's the one that shot us to above and beyond. And then the one with the Road Warriors, shit, they didn't want none.
You know, the funny thing is about that match, man, that
was a hell of a match for television entertainment.
Yeah.
How many times have the Road Warriors squashed somebody and you don't even remember?
Oh my God! Remember that? That's what I said. I said we weighed 170 pounds and 200 pounds. Them boys killed God and Moses on the fucking. Them dudes that beat everybody in the world. So to get beat by the Road Warriors was no small task.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, shit. But I mean, it was a hell of a match. It was entertaining as shit, man.
Yeah, it was. It was definitely.
It was. And just think,
sports entertainment. That's what they wanted. That's what we gave them. They were actually clapping when me and Wolfie came up the fucking ramp on the back. They done fired us. We done quit, but they were applauding our performance. That is no shit.
And like I said, just think, man, we almost walked away from that and would have never done that.
Well, but we were right for doing that because we got paid the money they took away from us, you know, because they actually took our fucking money when they took them tickets back.
Yeah.
So when Sean said, I'll make sure y'all get your money every Monday, I believe Sean. My dad gave Sean his first start, so I figured, hey, Sean, it's not that Sean owes me, but Sean ain't going to bullshit me. You know, fuck Bruce Pritchard. That dude was a lying. He was trying to tell us lines that my fucking daddy made up. Jack off.
Wow.
I mean, for real. I mean, I'm 100% shooting right here. I guess y'all can tell, you know. That old half-a-face fucking Jim Ross is going to come in. Hey, Wolfie, let me upgrade your ticket chair, man. You fucking little worm. Oh, where's his loyalty? Oh, my God, I heard he went to AEW. Where's your loyalty, motherfucker? Oh, they got me fired up now. Sorry.
Yeah.
I mean, for real, you know, that's bullshit, man.
Yeah, it is.
He gets Jenna Jameson on fucking pay-per-view, bro. I mean, come on.
Right.
I mean, right. You know how many dicks I sucked right then? About 30. Right that second, like, damn, I just sucked 30 dicks, man. What the fuck? And I did it for $500. So, I mean, so what? Some of y'all listening have done it for free. So, fuck it. Don't judge me.
You know, that match, when they show it on... I guess it's WWE Network or something, but when they show it now, they edit it out like you kissed her, and then you grabbed the mic and you said, "Damn, that tastes like dick."
Tastes like dick, yeah, definitely. But it did. It did. I mean, what else would it taste like? Anybody else kisses her? I promise. And that was the first time I'd ever really tasted dick, but I know it was dick. It was bar none. It was dick. I promise. It was like, that did not fucking taste right, Wolf. I remember one time me and Wolfie was in Puerto Rico, and I had a morning boner, and I threw my arm and leg over him and squeezed up against him like, I don't know, I was sleeping anyway. Whoa. And he slid out on the fucking bed. He's like, no, we got to get a room with 2 beds, bro. We can't be doing this shit. And that was the closest I ever been to being gay. So James dick in my mouth and my little boner on Wolfie's back. That's the closest I've ever been to queers. I'm sorry. That's just, not that I got anything against queers. I like queers. Y'all come over or whatever. I don't care. But I'm just saying that I know for a fact that kiss had a little dick in it. I know it did. I mean, we were dressing under the bleachers. We were under the bleachers dressing, bro. The fucking people's popcorn and shit was falling on us on a pay-per-view. I mean, for real.
Yeah. Man, Wolfie D, those stories were hilarious, bro.
Those are some good ones, man. Some of the best.
And those were actually hand-picked, not just by me, but you had your hand, and we picked all those stories. So, yeah, those are
wild ones. I'm surprised I'm still alive.
I am surprised. That's what I was just about to say. I'm surprised you're not one of those skeletons out in your ring in the front yard, man.
No doubt.
But anyway, yeah. So, like we promised before, you know what I've got to do now, right?
Ask me questions.
Ask you more questions. Exactly. I'm holding him to it, y'all. He's a busy man. He's making a little bit of time to do this. So we're going to take advantage and we're going to ask Wolfie D anything. We'll be right back. Hey, DJ, hit that music. All right, we are back with Ask Wolfie D Anything on this very special Best of the Early Stories episode. And yeah, man, that was a lot of fun. I always enjoy listening to those stories. I'll just since I have them all saved, I just go back and listen to some of the early ones, man. They're always funny. That one about the powder in your throat, honestly, bro, I know it's the scariest for you. That one is easily my favorite, honestly. I know that's crazy to say.
Thanks.
Yeah, I know, right? But I mean, still, bro, it's so funny, man. But anyway, yeah. Anyway, we definitely appreciate y'all sticking around with us today. We hope y'all enjoyed all those stories that, like I said, Wolfie D handpicked for this best of episode. So with that being said, we got a few questions here, as always, for Ask Wolfie D. We're always creating new content, so just stay with us here on this one. So the very first question on the show is Bill Merriman on Facebook. And he says this. He says, who is the stiffest guy you've ever worked with?
I always say Perry, but early Perry.
Yeah.
But then, TNA Perry wasn't as bad because he was still as strong as he could be. But yeah, man, he laid his stuff in. And then there was guys, man, that because they were so green, they were really stiff and not know where they're putting stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I know when I was a kid, man, and I might have told this before, Cool Breeze, one of was throwing Dante, man. And my stepdad used to put motherfuckers up to this shit, man, to try to get them to lay shit in on me. I swear to God, that son of a bitch hit me with a chair across the back. It felt like the hand of God smacked me. I swear. It hurt so bad. But and Brickhouse Brown even told me one time, but once he got to know me, he said, brother, your stepdaddy told me to be a little snug with you. But when I locked up with you and I figured out you knew what you was doing, I just had a good match with you. So yeah, Pete used to put motherfuckers up to that shit.
Man, I've heard Pete had a hell of a chop as far as how his chop would
land. The overhand Big Show gimmick.
Yeah, which I won't say I love that chop, but it works for the big guys, right? Because and it makes sense. But anyway, yeah. So how tall was Pete? He was like 6.
He's about 6'8", 6'9".
Yeah. So he's not far from Big Show, so that's pretty crazy. But I've heard a story that Kroll told me that if his hand landed in the middle of your chest, his finger was touching your shoulder, basically.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's pretty wild. So you're saying basically Cool Breeze, which can you give me his laugh a little bit?
Something like that. It's been a while since I heard it.
Yeah, I understand. Well, we need to fix that. But anyway, also, you said Perry too.
Yeah, Breeze, Perry, some of those guys, man.
What about some of the juiced up guys? Were those guys stiff?
Oh yeah. Like the what was his name? There was a Max Muscle guy that came from the power plant, and then Man,
Jeff Gaylord?
He wasn't that bad. Well, yes, he was, because he dislocated my jaw pretty much with a working punch. But he was stiff, and it's just because he was so reckless and not really good at it. It wasn't that he was trying to kill you, but I mean, there was plenty of guys that just lay it in, and I'm one of them. I lay my stuff in. I think I told you before. Don Harris used to tell me, "Man, I love working you." I'm like, "What? Why?" He said, "Cuz, man, you ain't afraid to lay it in." He said, "Most of these guys that are smaller than us, they're scared to hit us." He said, "You ain't." No. Okay. I know you're going to hit me, and I'm going to hit you back. So.
Right. Yeah. Well, that's a fun question. You know, we do get asked that sometimes, and that usually comes up during conversation with the guys.
And the Undertaker's old bodyguard, or he was the head of security at WWE.
Jim Dotson.
Jim Dotson. He was Undertaker's buddy, and he wrestled a little. I use that term loosely. He wrestled a little bit before he started doing that job, and that motherfucker was reckless, stiff, and strong as an ox, man.
Didn't he come from like the Tom Burton camp or something? Was that?
I don't remember. Probably.
I think he and Eron were in that same camp, and
I know Eron knows him.
Yeah,
or knew him. He's passed away. But.
Yeah, rest in peace, Jim Dotson. But yeah, you could. That dude was on Raw more than anybody, man. You could always see him. But anyway, well, that one's a great question. Thank you, Bill. Appreciate it as always for the good questions, guys. The next one's kind of similar, so we're going to stay in this range here. This is Jason Tucker on Facebook, and Jason's a great listener. Definitely always active on the socials with us. We definitely appreciate that. He says this one is, what was the most vicious chair shot you've ever taken?
I just said Cool Breeze.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So.
I really think that one reminds me. I mean, yeah, that was a good one. That was a real good one. And really, honestly, I've been hit with so many of them. It's hard to say that this particular one, but I guess because I was so young, and I'm talking, I was probably 16 or 17, and that shit hurt.
Did it rattle your brain a little?
Oh, it hit me flat across the back.
Oh yeah.
And I'd rather be hit in the head than in the back with a chair. I hate that shit.
The quotation safe way that they do now.
Yeah, to me that hurts worse.
I believe it, bro. There's just no way it couldn't hurt, man. Dude, I just had an MRI on my lower back. I've had back issues and surgery and stuff like that. And, I can't imagine taking those shots to the back like that, man. That's just crazy. So, yeah. Well, that's pretty much that question. I appreciate the question, Jason. That was always good. I always like to hear about Wolfie getting his ass kicked, So, so the last one of the day on this very special best of the funny stories, whatever we're going to call it, is from Martin Edwards on Facebook. And he asked this. It says, if WWE were to come to you and say, hey, Wolfie, we want to put you in the Hall of Fame as PG-13, not just the nation, literally as PG-13, who would you want to induct you?
Even though that is very far-fetched.
Sure. Yeah.
Hypothetically.
Yeah.
Let me think of people that are still alive. Danny Davis.
Danny? Okay. Yeah.
Out of the people that are still alive, or possibly because Danny really don't want nothing to do with wrestling anymore. So maybe Jeff Jarrett. He's given PG-13. He was responsible for getting the word to his dad and all that stuff. And Jerry's no longer with us, so he can't do it. Yeah. So it'd be somebody like Danny or Jeff. I would imagine.
Those are two good ones. Yeah, I think those are two viable. I mean, honestly, they should be putting Danny in the Hall of Fame if we're being honest here, for all that he did for those guys, those early guys that, fed the roof.
I mean, look at OVW now. I mean,
dude, I know.
Remember when it was just a little bitty nothing, and now these guys are getting a huge push thanks to Netflix,
Yeah, totally. And another guy that we got to mention too, we had Cash Flow on, and now the 2-man power trip is having Cash Flow on. We do notice this stuff, guys. We're very popular with other podcasts. They really like us. So all love, all respect.
Yeah.
but funny. Anyway, so yeah, Jeff, you know, I mean, because you could think maybe Lawler, but Lawler really wasn't a big fan of the gimmick as well, you know.
He was, but
he became a fan of it, but he didn't love rap, I guess, you know.
Yeah, and also I'm taking into consideration his his capacity right now. You know?
Sure, that makes sense. You know, the more logical person, because Danny is in hiding. We know that right now. Yeah. You know, he doesn't want anything to do with coming on the podcast. No, I'm just kidding. We love you, Danny. But I think Jeff would be the most logical person probably to get it done. And you know, well, let me ask you this. So, you know, there is like the Impact TNA Hall of Fame. Mm-hmm. Okay, who would maybe induct you there? Jeff again?
Yeah, I was thinking that, but I was trying to give you a different answer. Jeff or
because you'd be going in with Jim, you know, you'd probably be going in with Jim and Brian and all those guys.
Yeah, so that's what I was fixing to ask you. Do we mean PG-13 or do we mean Disciples? So again, I mean, that was a Jeff Jarrett, Jerry Jarrett put together, you know what I mean? So
yeah.
It would have to be probably Jeff again.
That's cool. I definitely think that's overdue. The Disciples definitely need to be, I mean, you're originals, man, you know?
Yeah.
You know, if that some of the guys they put in there, I understand it's like big names. I respect that. But, you know, you got to do some of the originals. And I think, you know, I could easily see that happening where, you know, the WWE is way hypothetical. I could actually see somewhat of a thing. There's a higher percentage of that happening, I think. Right. And,
yeah, absolutely, man. I mean, it would be nice, and the only thing is I feel like they do forget about the beginning sometimes, you know, and the people that helped to launch the fucking product, you know?
Right.
Because a lot of people really consider those weekly pay-per-views almost like they didn't happen, you know?
Right, exactly.
It's like Orlando was the first thing, you know, but
it's like OVW didn't exist before Batista and Cena and Orton got there, even though it did. It's kind of almost like that in a way, you know. I may be wrong on that, but anyway, yeah. Well, anyway, that's all I got for today on this very special Ask Wolfie D Anything, and yeah, man, that's it, brother. So.
Cool.
Go enjoy your boy, man.
y'all be looking on the website for clips of my yard. We'll see if Jimmy can't throw those on there for you.
Absolutely. I'll be getting it out there for sure.
Cool. We'll let everybody check it out.
All right. Sounds good, guys, brother.
Tuning in, and we'll be back next week, hopefully with a guest. If not, we'll bullshit some more. So we're good at bullshitting our way through things here.
The kings of it.
Everybody have a good day. Thank you for listening.
And now a word from our sponsor. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Give Me Back My Pro Wrestling, the podcast that's based on the old school but can still help you find the good stuff from today. Jimmy Street and the Plastic Chic, Jared, are the undisputed tag team champions of the wrestling podcast world. From thought-provoking topics to superstar interviews to action figure expertise. This team does it all. And all they ask is, give me back my pro wrestling. Every other Thursday, wherever you listen to podcasts.
Join me, Gene Jackson, for the Jackson Interaction Podcast, where I'll be doing one-on-one interviews with people from the world of professional wrestling, as well as stand-up comedy. You can get them anywhere podcasts are available in both video and audio form, but you can find them all at genejacksonpod.com.
That's right, it's the talk of Middle Tennessee, the channel you love to hate and the channel you hate to love. It's Brian Turner from Brian Turner's VHS Rehab. And if you're looking for matches from Wolfie D to Jerry Lawler to Dusty Rhodes and the team that put a pimp before your eyes and a goatee between your thighs, Booty Call and Athena, go to lostwrestling.com. See, I made it easy for you. Brian Turner's VHS Rehab. Booyah.
Hey everyone, this is Shane from Insane Shane's World. I release wrestling figures of enhancement talent, mid-card wrestlers, and wrestlers that you never thought would have a figure available. So if you're interested in adding a really cool and rare figure to your collection, then don't hesitate to contact me at shamtheman73@gmail.com. That's SHAMtheman73@gmail.com. You can also join my Facebook group. Just search Insane Shane's World.
So that was another great episode. Hey, Wolfie, tell them where they can find you on social media.
Jimmy, they can find me in the club, bottle full of bub. I'm just kidding. They can find me on Facebook. My personal page is Warren Wolf, WOLFE. I'm on Instagram at WarrenWolf13.
You can always find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube at Live Wolfie D. Here's the thing. Wolfie always has offers for his autographed photos. He has a selection of some awesome photos from throughout his career that he will autograph and personalize any way that you want him to. Just contact him either directly at his personal Facebook page or through any one of our other pages, and we'll make sure you get in contact directly with Wolfie. Get those photos, right, Wolfie?
Yeah, I've got some good stuff on there, to help with the podcast.
Folks, if you can't get out to a show to meet Wolfie D, there's nothing like that, especially for the fans of PG-13 and Wolfie D. And before we go, you can always find me, your host, Jimmy Street, at James Rock Street on Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube.
And hey, Jimmy, before we go real quick, I just want to add in there, from the bottom of my heart, I really appreciate, first of all, the work you've done for this podcast. You have worked your butt off. Secondly, the people that are liking the page. Beyond that, even more, is the people that are listening, and we really appreciate that.
Yeah, and remember, guys, the podcast drops a new episode every Monday at noon, and our past episodes are streaming now on demand on all major podcast formats. Thanks again.
I got a cap for your dome.
He got a cap for your dome.
I got a cap for your dome.
He got a cap for your dome.
He got a cap
for your dome.
And here we go. The original white boy that came out sagging, not bragging, don't be hating, cause I'm spitting the truth. Still livin' in color. From Rush your mother, utilize a hubcap unlike any other. Back in the day, I was NOD, and I was P to the G, plus the 1 and the 3. In case you forgot, they call me Wolfie D. Been cloned and copied so many times, tired of suckers taking credit for what is mine. You know who you are without me name dropping. Wrestling's first white boy coming out hip hop. Been doing it like this since '92. Laid low for a while and you thought I was through. Listen real close to these rhymes that I've injected. This shit's so sick it makes your ears get infected. Mad skills, no faking, there is no one great. Cause I'm bringing more folks than Obi-Wan or Vader. Not here to play games, so you better beware. You don't like me, so what? I really don't care. Like time I keep ticking and I can't be stopped. You sucker step to the side unless you wanna get dropped. With my finish, I'll straight knock you out. Please allow me to tell you what it's all about. I'm gonna wind it up, then I'm driving it home. It's Wolfie D, baby. I got a cap for your dome. I got a cap for your dome.
He got a cap for your dome. He got a cap for your dome.
This has been a James Rock Street production.